I Got the Hell Out does contain explicit content that might not be suitable for some listeners, such as children, those that easily get offended, and we do recommend that listeners at work put your earbuds in if you have coworkers around.
And if you like the show, please spread the word by telling as many people as you can. Would also appreciate if you would subscribe, rate, hopefully with 5 stars, and review the podcast on iTunes. You can find us there as well as on Stitcher and Overcast. You can follow us on Twitter at Was In A Cult, on Facebook at I Got The Hell Out, and on Instagram at I Got The Hell Out with an underscore after each word. You can contact us through our website at IGotTheHellOut.com.
Good early morning to y'all.
Oh, it's really early morning.
And it's another episode of I Got the Hell Out. And I'm Deb, by the way.
And I'm Laura.
And oh my God, it's early.
It's really early. It's what, 10:19?
Something like that. I was supposed to be here at 9:30. And here we go, starting to blather again.
We're not.
We apologize for the last episode. We have real lives like all y'all. And sometimes it's just really hard to get your shit done.
Yeah, it's like we went from having all this extra time to getting full-time jobs to
both of us.
Like you said, where the hell do I fit everything in?
And like for a while I was carrying you because of what was happening in your life. And then you carried me for a while, and now we're both just really tired and we're limping along holding each other up.
Oh my God. Do you have a Kool-Aid recipe?
I do. And our Kool-Aid recipe today...
Oh, I think I might know. Let me see the picture.
I picked this one.
Ooh, it's like a Halloween-y cat.
Well, no. Look, it's a black cat with a gold mustard-colored kippa on its head, just like Little Man.
I thought that was a plate.
No.
It's a little kippa.
I don't know what it is, but
we're going to call it a kippa.
Yeah, that's what I did.
It's a gold kippa.
Our Kool-Aid recipe comes from Christy K, and it's called the Killer Kool-Aid.
Okay, what's in it?
It's very simply 1 ounce of vodka, 1 ounce of blackberry schnapps, and anything blackberry's good.
Ooh, yum.
1 ounce of amaretto, and the rest is black cherry Kool-Aid, which is my favorite.
How do you go wrong with that recipe?
Exactly. And I mean, this picture is just... Isn't it?
We're going to have to post it. He has a little gold kippa.
Well, I'm posting it now. And see,
well, but I mean, I'll post it on Instagram.
Well, see, when we do the show, I post it. So she's going to know that her Kool-Aid recipe has won before the rest of the world does.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Right. And if it wasn't 10:30 in the morning, we would be drinking it.
Oh, gosh, yes.
But it's coffee time right now.
And I ran out of coffee, but we're not going to go there. I got milk, though.
We're going to try really, really hard to not go off on tangents that have nothing to do
with stuff.
With anything.
Debbie S. is an ex-member also. And Deb, if you can put the picture she was cleaning out her closet, and her husband worked for months producing the Song of Moshe.
What the heck's that?
One of our culty songs.
Oh, okay.
She said, we still have the original recording reel. He was so into it for the love he had for our Heavenly Father. And he's the one who showed me Little Man and His Elders. And we're going in the wrong direction, she says. But there's the original reel. I mean, this goes back
oh my God.
to the 80s. So, Debbie, put the picture with your paragraph and I'll be able to post it. But I didn't want to post 2 of them. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. That's like a real culty recording.
Yeah. And one of our guy listeners, Matthew P., okay, he says, hi, I'm slowly making my way through your shows and just heard the Words You Can't Say episode. Can you please say the names of the planets out loud? They're all named after gods.
But of course we can.
And let's just say that there were 4 of us the other night, and we were drinking beer when I came across this.
Okay.
And for the life of us, we were trying to figure out all of the planets in order without Googling it.
Oh, I know them in order.
And believe it or not, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Shall we say them together?
Okay, do it slow, because I have to think about this, though.
Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars.
Hold on. Jupiter. Saturn. Sorry.
My favorite.
Uranus.
The planet that farts come from.
Uranus.
Yeah.
Neptune.
And Pluto will always be a planet.
That's right. Damn straight it will be.
They refer to it now as Planet 9. We looked it up after we had all written our answers down
as
to
far
see
as
who
I'm
was
concerned,
correct.
still a planet.
But
Poor little Pluto.
I'm telling ya. But why is it referred to as Planet 9? We're not going to discuss that because that's off topic.
Okay.
Okay, Matthew, thank you very much.
So there you go. There's our planets.
Okay, now, last episode we were talking about Amber and her questions in wheelchair racing.
Oh, that's right. What did she have to say?
She says, you'll always find someone who is offended by anything you might say or do. But regarding wheelchair races at the hospital, I'd say go for it.
Now, does she say where you could get...
I'm getting
okay, all right.
I wouldn't find it offensive whatsoever as long as you let me race too. When I was first in a wheelchair at the hospital, I would sometimes race around the unit with other patients. Unless we came a little too close to crashing into someone, the nurses were pretty much just happy to see us out of our rooms, laughing and enjoying ourselves. Wheelchair races are a great way to begin finding acceptance with a whole new condition and set of circumstances. And as a bonus, you learn more about how your body now works, what you can and can't do, and how to get around doing things you can no longer do the old way. Okay, so she must be overcoming something. Just a hint, if you decide to give it a try, in most hospitals, the largest stash of not too closely monitored wheelchairs are usually found near the entrance of the emergency room department. She's giving us her blessing.
That makes sense.
Also remember that these are generic, heavy institutional wheelchairs. Long-term, permanently owned wheelchairs for full-time users are generally much lighter, faster, better designed, and customizable. Bet you couldn't win a race against me.
Oh, I bet we couldn't.
Hell no.
Hell no.
Hell no. Well, thank you very, very, very much. We can go wheelchair racing now.
Okay. Well, you know what, though? That would make you realize what you can't do. And, you know, if you're in a wheelchair, how much you rely on your upper body strength.
Well, you know, I have a gimpy arm and I have to do things differently sometimes. So...
yeah, so we just don't, we take for granted what we can do until something happens.
I mean, try stubbing your toe and walking around. You never realized how much that little toe, you know.
Just anything. Yeah, anything at all.
Anyway, back to the show.
Okay, we're going back.
We're going, Barbara Kay is our resident Mormon.
Oh, what does she have to say?
She says, I'm Mormon and I endorse that peanut butter. She says, here's the deal. Mormons do a shit ton of humanitarian aid in the form of food support. She says, we get a lot of things wrong, but this we're pretty good at. She says, every major city in the U.S., at least, has a cannery or bishop's storehouse of some size where lots of food is stored, processed, and disseminated to individuals, food banks, disaster relief organizations, etc. If your peanut butter accumulating friend isn't Mormon, that food bank probably has some connection to the local cannery. Tell your friend to request the potato pearls and cocoa mix. They're fabulous. And remember, Mormons don't drink, so we know how to work those carbs.
Oh, I bet they do. Potato pearls?
I don't know.
Oh, I gotta look that up because that sounds really good.
I took the peanut butter home and was showing it to my son.
Uh-huh.
It is the best damn peanut butter
Is it really?
I have ever eaten in my
thanks for bringing it over.
life.
Or is it gone?
No, it's mine. Just like the Pierogi Festival was yours.
And I see you're wearing the Kennywood shirt. Is that like,
of course.
So like to rub it in, like, thanks for taking me.
I didn't think about it, but it works for me. But
speaking of pierogies, I wish we could get sponsored by Mrs. T's.
Wouldn't that be funny?
Because all these people are posting pictures about how they're now buying Mrs. T's pierogies.
I know, I saw that.
So I'm hoping there's
somebody thanked us for showing us these little pearls of wonderfulness, and
they are. It's the best comfort food.
And everybody was posting about how they like to eat them and what their favorite kind is. I'll leave that up to you to write Mrs. T's.
I will. I'll be like, listen to episode.
Yeah,
what episode number was it?
Stick it on another, to-do list.
Okay, on one of my many ones, sure.
Many, many, many to-do lists. Okay, I do that too much. Oh, and it wasn't the Mattress King, it was Mattress Mac.
Oh.
So thanks, Mal. She sent me a link for that.
Okay.
But yeah, he was Mattress Mac.
And it wasn't Joel Osteen.
Who was it?
No, I'm saying, it was Mattress Mac. It wasn't the Christian guy. Is what I'm saying.
Exactly. But yeah, it was Don't use his last name.
Joel.
Joel O. Joel Ass. I mean,
Bad plastic surgery guy.
I would love to go into the comments of the American food aisle in Australia,
Oh my gosh.
but I'm not going to.
That was like those pictures that were
It's
posted.
pathetic.
It's pathetic. It's just like every shitty, sugary.
There's 5 kinds of candy that you'd find at the movie theater. They have Arizona iced tea and not even the good kind. What's up with the Dr. Pepper? I mean, the can.
It was Coke. There's a can of Coke.
There was A1 sauce, marshmallow fluff.
Oh God.
It was, you couldn't even survive what was on there.
It was pitiful.
It was very pitiful. Jeanette B, her question was, you keep saying the cult says everything is pagan and people worship false gods. So my question is this. Does the cult think everyone else worships a different cult than them? She asks a lot of questions.
Oh.
Yes, they think that they're not worshiping the right God. Then she asks, is the Christian God the real deal? Well, personally, I don't believe in the guy in the sky anymore. So everybody out there, you can make your own assumption if you're following the right one.
But according to the cult, is it the same one?
No.
Okay.
Is it just the way that he is worshipped that is wrong? And part of it is that the cult believes if you're not calling God by his real name, he ain't listening to you.
Well, and the whole thing with the praying with, remember the folding of the hands, like that was wrong.
Right. So
it's like all these little
it's
details.
you have the keys to the door, but you're using the wrong key and
Right.
it won't let you in.
And you need to wear your correct garments.
Yes, and you have to remind God, hey, God, it's me, Margaret, because God doesn't know who's talking to him.
No, you need to say your name. You need to wear the right clothing. Your hands have to be in the right position.
And if you really want God to hear you, you have to have your ablution and be in a complete and utter holy state.
Because otherwise he won't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, the coffee hasn't kicked yet. She goes on to say, is their God the one true God and no one else worships him? Or is it that just no one else worships him correctly? Yeah, see, the rest of the world is deceived. Okay? Because they're not doing it right. They all have keys, but they're all using the wrong one trying to get in the door.
So there's no way, unless you are in the cult,
You're not going to heaven.
There's no way you are worshiping the correct God.
Correct.
Okay.
And see, you're going to die because you're not worshiping with the cult. But everybody out there, good news. You get a second chance. Because when y'all die, see, the people that are in the cult are going to be like holier than thou and the new teachers. Remember, Laura?
Okay.
So when you come up from Sheol, the grave, and there's a couple thousand years, we get to convert you.
Wait, this is once I die?
Yeah, you're
okay,
dead.
so I just die. I kick the bucket.
Yep. So
what happens according to the cult?
Well, you lay there in your grave and you have no idea what's going on.
Okay, until
The resurrection.
And is this like the end of the world, the nuclear
This is
blah blah blah?
is when everything's said and done with.
Okay.
Everybody that has ever died, which is what, billions upon billions of
Right.
people, y'all get resurrected.
And we finally because
You
said
have the choice. Then you have the choice. You know you sinned your entire life and you weren't praying to the right God. You weren't doing things correctly.
we were evil people.
You're evil people.
Okay. Pagan evil people.
Yes. Even though you wanted to do good. Okay?
But nonetheless.
Nonetheless.
Okay.
The cult, all of the members that are living and all of the members that have died there, they're going to be the head over you, and they're going to teach you what you need to do in order to live, to get into heaven.
Okay.
And you will either accept their teachings and get in, or you're going to go to Sheol, the grave.
Okay, so that's like the second grave.
Yes. That's,
Okay, so there's
that's
two
the
graves.
second death.
Okay.
There's two
So
deaths.
when the whole quote resurrection thing happens, do they come to me or do I go to them like, hey, I need help?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't even know if you'll have a body. Is it just going to be your soul?
Soul, whatever.
Or
Right.
is your rotted body going to come up out of the grave?
But they're going to show me the way.
Yes.
Okay.
I want you
Yep.
to show me the way.
Maybe
Why
they'll
do I
play
sing?
that.
I can't
Maybe
sing.
they'll play that song.
I don't think so.
Was that Peter Frampton?
I think so.
I think so. See?
See?
We're old. Come on, if we know Peter Frampton songs, we're old.
I was at work last night, and the guy that I was working my station with, he's 3 years younger than me, and I'm 48, so that makes him 45. And we were working with 18 to 25-year-olds, and we were playing songs and asking them who it was and what the name of the song was, and they had no idea for most of them.
Oh my God. There was one time, I can't remember who.
We're going off on a tangent.
I know, but this is just really funny though.
Keep going.
One time I was working with someone and George Harrison died. They had no idea who he was. How do you not know that?
All I know is that there was some rapper, somebody who did something with somebody like George Harrison. I don't even remember what song it was. But the younger crowd was like, ooh, who is this old dude? You know, this young guy's going to take him places. And it's like, wait a minute, you don't know who this is?
Exactly.
So,
you're like losing your crap everywhere.
all my crap everywhere. So, to my ex-member friends out there, somebody asked me what the significance of the bulldog with his paw on the scripture book was.
Oh, the scripture book or your ID?
The ID.
Okay.
But on my ID, the bulldog has his paw on the scripture book.
Oh, okay.
And I don't remember what the
The bulldog was the mascot?
At some point that came out, and then they had stickers for your car.
Oh.
So you could identify members, okay? It was like your secret.
Was it a bulldog?
It was the reverse image of what was on my ID, okay? And it was a big square white decal, and the bulldog with his foot on the book was in green. And it was like you would drive up to the gate and they would see that and they would know you were a member.
Oh my God. It's almost sort of like someone's high school mascot.
Pretty much. But they ended up taking the decals off of there because it became readily known to the local law enforcement.
Oh, that's not good.
And stuff, because you'd have one on the front bumper and one on the back bumper. Oh. And at first it was kind of like if you saw one of those, you do the beep, beep, beep because it's a member in front of you, you know, and the town we were in. But yeah, those ended up getting peeled off after a while.
I bet they did.
They did. Anybody got a bumper sticker out there left, guys?
Oh my God, that'd be great.
Pretty much. Samantha asks, who lives in England, you're still on my list for Kool-Aid. And every time I leave Walmart and I'm halfway home, I went, shit, I forgot her Kool-Aid. So.
Oh, to send it to her.
Yeah.
It will be on its way.
You know how big my to do list is?
I know. Believe me. I hear you.
Do you
We both have huge ass to-do lists.
Yeah, you could. You know what? You take my list and I'll take your list.
We'll swap.
I don't think we'll get much done. This is episode 37, by the way.
Okay, and we are going to go over, well, at least start, it might be a two-parter, I don't know, the 10 Commandments and how the cult really doesn't follow them, even though they preach them.
Well, of course.
I mean, you know, because that's how they do things.
They twist it to their own ways.
And some of them I find really funny that the whole thing about, well, we'll get into it, but the whole thou shalt not kill. I guess it's thou shalt not kill.
Unless it's okay by the cult.
Right.
Yeah, I know lots about that.
Right, but what they have in the children's book is absolutely not what they do. So they're teaching the kids one thing in the children's book, but they just go ahead and do whatever the hell they want. Which sounds like pretty much the cult from what you've been saying.
They make no sense. I mean, what they do and what comes out of their mouth is like, do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
And it's like, you know, your kid knows they're not supposed to do something, but then you turn around and say, do this, but just this one time.
Okay.
So.
And they're probably confused, like, what the hell's going on?
I was confused half the time there. Like I said.
And you were an adult.
Especially when somebody shows up and you know the truth and they're asking you to lie in court. It's like, I told you that I didn't want to go against the cult and say, no, I'm not going to lie.
Right.
But I told them that I would show up in court and I would say, I remember hearing a commotion, but I was in the back cooking. I have no idea what happened. Because I'm not going to say something that's not true about somebody else, you know?
Lying under oath. Not your thing.
Well, even, I don't lie because it takes no thought to tell the truth. When you lie, you have to
Oh,
remember
you
shit.
need to remember shit. And then the lies just keep getting bigger and bigger, and you have to remember what you said 4 months ago because...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't lie. And I don't lie, cheat, and steal. Those are the 3 things I hate. And
Yep.
the cult does all 3.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
We got a Kenny's Corner.
We do?
I said, do we?
I don't know.
Kenny's Corner.
It just pops up.
Okay. So Kenny's Corner may just pop up anytime during the podcast.
I hope not, but it usually does.
Well, I could have sworn you said you had one for me.
I say a lot of things
Okay.
under duress of beer.
All right. So moving on to these 10 commandments.
Okay.
Now, I'm going with the 10 commandments that are in the Old Testament, since the cult says that they're an Old Testament cult.
Well, of course.
So we're going to go...
They're following the original word of God.
Right. So we're going to go with those commandments and see how they kind of twist them around to their own whatever.
Sure.
So the first one is, you shall not have any other gods before me.
Yeah,
Okay. But don't they worship little man?
they do now.
But you know what I'm saying, though.
Little
So-
man who rules as God.
So he is God?
They lost a lot of people to the fact of that he claims to actually sort of be God.
Okay. Because it says in the children's book here, it says, well, believing in God is positive law number 1. So that's number 1. Okay. So apparently it's a big deal to not worship any other people.
Exactly, but they're worshiping little man.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It says, this law is telling us that we must believe in God. Being slaves in Egypt represents being slaves to sin. God freed us from bondage of sin by opening our minds and giving us his laws so that we might obey them and belong to him. Okay. Then it tells the kids, we must acknowledge that God is the only lawgiver and that his laws are his strength. Well, it sounds like the cult makes up their own laws, too.
They do.
Yeah,
Remember,
I mean-
if you go over 10 miles an hour on the road that leads up to the gates, you're going to hell because you're making the place dusty.
I don't see that on my 10 commandment list.
You know, I personally don't follow the 10 commandments. I follow, 4 words. Don't be an asshole.
Right.
That covers everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving on.
Okay. But I'm loving how they're making up their own, even though they follow the Old Testament, they say. And it says, we must be willing to be taught God's perfect laws, then we must promise to never break them again. It is our obedience to God by keeping his laws that qualifies us to be a part of his family in his soon coming kingdom. Because apparently the end is near.
It's always near. It was 3.5 years from the day I joined. And here it is 26 years later.
And they're still giving excuses about time's linear and stops and starts and all that good stuff, right?
It makes so much not sense that I guess it makes sense to the members out there. I mean, they must have scrambled eggs for brains.
It's like the laws that they make up. But they say they're following the 10 Commandments.
They follow everything in the Old Testament, Laura. Everything.
Oh, right. Yeah, I like the dusty road. That's there. Mm-hmm. I remember reading that in the Bible.
Yeah. There's a talking donkey in the Bible. Find it.
That's my quest for the week.
We have Google now, so all you have to do is Google talking donkey in the Bible. Yeah.
All right, I'll Google it.
You won't, but it'll be funny.
If I can remember, I will. All right.
What are we moving on to?
We're moving on to number 2.
What's anybody out there? Come on, play along.
Which, according to the Bible's Old Testament, you shall not take the name of the Lord in vain. Which,
That's why my mom gets mad when I go, God damn it.
Right.
So.
Right.
But see, that's not God's name. That's his nickname. The cult uses his real name.
Oh, so you could say that in the cult.
Well,
Or
no,
no.
because you couldn't use the G word.
Oh, that's right.
No.
That's right, because then it'd be a pagan phrase.
Yeah, and then you couldn't use God's real name and damn it after that because then you're going straight to hell.
You're going straight
You're
down.
going straight to hell.
Okay. Because in the children's book it says, I guess this is their own version, do not take God's name and bring it to nothing.
Okay.
Which I guess is kind of the same thing. And this is prohibitive law number 62.
Okay.
Okay, then. And let me see here. I'm going to go through just some of this. Let's see. A great deception that has spread throughout the world is that God is just one of the gods. So their version of God is the one, and there's lots of other ones out there.
Exactly. Isn't that what every religion thinks, Laura?
That is true.
Now, see, if you were born elsewhere, you would be a different religion. You would be following something else. When you were born, they gave you a name, they gave you an identity, and they gave you a religion. These things were forced upon you from birth.
From birth.
And you never had a choice in any of them until you're actually old enough to go, wait a minute.
I have questions.
This makes no sense.
I have questions.
There's a lot of teenage and young people that were brought there by their parents.
Oh, they had to be going like, what the hell?
Well, there's something on the ex members page that, she's really upset because she was brought there as a child. And from even the beginning, she's like thinking, what the hell is this? This is bullshit. And she started asking questions in her teens. And of course, it's, shh, we don't ask questions. Because that means you're standing on your own understanding. You cannot stand on your own understanding. You're supposed to study to make yourself approved. But as I've mentioned, when they're standing up there telling you this is what the interlinear, the concordance, the lexicon, this is what this says, none of us, I don't think, ever went and looked this stuff up. So they could have manipulated whatever way they wanted to. So,
which they did.
Yeah. And just like every other religion out there, theirs is the one true God. There is no other one. No other one.
Okay.
So.
And basically worshiping any
Everybody
other
else
god
is deceived.
Oh, that's right. They're stupid.
They're stupid and deceived.
Okay.
But that's all right. You'll get another chance during the resurrection.
That's right. And then they're saying that the other gods teach a mixture of righteousness and evil. And
so that it looks good.
Right. And it is, quote, God worship that has caused the curses of sin to spread throughout the earth.
Yeah.
Okay. If we take away his name, we take away his glory and the 613 perfect laws that his name stands for.
How narcissistic is it that, God makes people, gives them free will, and then kills them for doing their own free will? Yeah. Worship me and love me or I will smite you. That sounds like an abusive spouse.
Which is what the cult does.
But anyway.
What was that? Move on.
Move on.
Okay.
I'll go off on a tangent. We all don't want that. we just don't want that.
Okay. So number 3 is remember to keep holy the Lord's Day.
That would be the Sabbath.
Which some religions are Saturday, some are Sunday. So which one is it?
I guess depending on what religion you are.
And
see, everybody who goes to church on Sunday is going on the wrong day.
Right, because it's supposed
God makes his day from sunset to sunset. So the holy day starts at sunset.
Right, it doesn't start at like 12 midnight.
No. But see, people go by a clock. Do you realize a clock really doesn't exist? People have taken time and broken it down into increments. If you took clocks away, time would still go by exactly the same. See what I'm saying?
Right.
But people nowadays say Sunday starts at midnight, which is in the middle of the freaking night. But according to the Bible, the day starts at sunset, which going way back to Genesis, if God didn't make the sun until the 4th day, how did 4 days go by? Anyway.
I don't know. Moving on. Okay. And let's see here. It says, this law is very clear concerning the Sabbath.
Very clear.
Very clear. It shows that God worked 6 days creating the heavens and the earth and all that is in them. Then on the 7th day, he rested from all the work he had done.
Do you think a platypus was made by all the leftover parts he had?
Platypus.
It's a mammal that lays eggs and it has fur.
It's pretty cool.
And a duck bill and it's got... But do you think it was made with all the leftover parts?
Kind of like, we'll put this thing together.
Yeah, it's like IKEA furniture. You always got extra parts,
Or not enough. Mine is always not enough.
Okay.
All right, where the hell am I?
I don't
Here. Do. In the same way, we are to work 6 days and rest on the 7th, which is called Saturday. I thought they didn't use names of the days of the week, but it's in this children's book.
They're screw ups. That's all I can say. I mean, how many typos have we found?
Oh,
Hysterical
a million.
typos.
A million. But I just think it's funny that they're saying, which is called Saturday.
Because
But yet, a couple chapters back, it's like we do not say the days of the week.
no, that would be seventh day. Sabbath day.
Well, then it says, since we cannot work or cook on the Sabbath, we need to prepare whatever we are going to eat the day before.
Exactly. Like I said, I would make egg and cheese sandwiches, and we could heat them up in the microwave, which I didn't understand that because I couldn't heat them up on the stove because that was lighting a fire.
But yet you could microwave something.
Yes, and if I would have had an electric stove, I could have heated it up on the stove there.
Again, makes no sense.
Well, you can't kindle a fire on the Sabbath.
Oh my God.
It's one of the rules. And see, in the old days, they would keep the coals in the fire pit, and you'd have to make sure that you kept the fire going. You
Okay.
couldn't light a fire, but you could keep one going.
Gotcha.
And it also had double meaning because, I used to question everything. The double meaning of kindling a fire meant that you can't argue on the Sabbath. You can't get mad.
Oh, a fire meaning an argument, like you can't.
You can't get angry. You're not supposed to get angry on the Sabbath. So,
Well, what if someone does something stupid?
I don't know. But, I mean, you weren't allowed to yell at your husband to begin with.
But he was allowed to yell at you, I'm sure.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
But you couldn't pick an argument. Like, you borrowed my favorite sweater and you are giving it back to me during Sabbath. And you're like, I'm so really sorry, but my cat jumped up on me and now it unraveled and there's this like softball size hole in it.
Right.
And you just toss it at me and you're like, oh, I'm just so sorry. And you start to walk away. I could be pissed as hell, but I can't start an argument with you.
So that would be the day to give that sweater back.
Exactly.
So anything that you've ruined or anything or whatever, it's like the Sabbath day is like, all right, here's when I'm going to like give back this piece of furniture or this piece of clothing that I totally ruined.
Or book
Or
that you
whatever.
spilled coffee
Right.
on. Yeah. They can get ticked at you and talk to you after the Sabbath, but no, you could toss the sweater at me and I have to smile sweetly at you and say, I'll talk to you tomorrow, sweetheart. And in your mind, you're going, I'm going to avoid you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm hiding tomorrow.
Yes.
That's so shitty.
It was a shitty place. I mean, there were so many loopholes about stuff.
My God. So it's going on here that we must wash our laundry, take our ablution, and call the priests for reconciliation on the preparation day.
Yes.
Okay, then it says...
You just called in and they would stick you on the list and they're supposed to be praying for you to be all holy again.
Magically.
Well, just calling on God and saying, hey, God, it's me, Margaret. You're there naked with your holy garments on. Then you dunk yourself in the ablution tank. Then you pray to be clean and holy. That's not good enough. Gotta call on the elders and put your name on the list.
So the elders are the same as the priests.
Yes.
They're talking about. Okay.
And little man's the Grand Poobah priest.
Grand Poobah priest. Okay. It says the Sabbath is a day of rest, worship, and study. It is also a feast day.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, from what I can remember, the women still worked and got the meals ready and did whatever, and the guys were the only ones that rested.
Let's just say, like Day of Atonement sucked. And other things sucked. Because Hi Ken, he would sleep till the last minute. Get up, get himself ready, and take us. Meanwhile, I've got 2 toddlers.
Right. You're getting them ready. You're working.
Yeah. I have to feed them. I have to get them dressed. I have to get them ready to go. And there's no help from them. Well, I can't say everybody. Most of the men just took care of themselves. It was up to the women. And you could tend your livestock. You had to tend your livestock.
Okay.
You had to feed them, water them. I still had to milk the cow because it's something
You
that
had to, right.
needed. If you don't, they get mastitis. And you can't drink the milk for a few
What the
days.
hell's that? Some kind of inflammation.
Well, did you breastfeed?
No.
Oh. If the mammary glands are used to being expressed...
As you're grabbing your boob.
Twice. You had to mention that, didn't you? It was helping me think it's too early.
Oh, shit.
Let's just put it this way.
Okay.
If you're used to expressing milk twice a day,
Right.
because even people get this,
Like your breasts will leak.
it backs up and it curdles and it makes like cottage cheese.
Oh, I did not know that.
And like my cow had it a couple times. When
So you're wasting milk, basically.
when you go to milk the cow, not only is the cow in pain, but it squirts out like cheese in a can, like Cheese Whiz.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
It's yeah, she didn't like it. I did my best to make sure she didn't get
Get
it.
that, yeah.
But it happened 2-3 times while I had her. And you can't, even though there's 4 udders, if one of them is infected with mastitis, because see, like I got 2 boobs,
Right.
one could have it and one could not. It's a
Oh.
block of
Okay.
the milk ducts, which causes the milk to go bad inside you because you're 100 or you're 98.6 degrees, and that milk is supposed to be
Gotcha.
gone, and it's making more.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense, actually. Believe it or not,
Yeah,
it makes sense.
but it was always.
But he wasn't out there milking the damn cow.
Nor was he giving her hay or making sure her water was full. We had a dog, we had a bird. It all fell on me.
Kenny's Corner, lazy son of a bitch.
Yeah.
With the look on your face. Like, yeah.
Excuse me.
All right. Be ready for number 4.
Okay.
Okay. Do you know what it is?
It's too early. You gonna bet me $50? I bet I can come
Oh,
up
hell
with it.
no. I'm never, ever betting you again on anything. I'm not even betting you a damn quarter. Nothing.
But why?
Because I'm going to lose.
No. See, you should have went double or nothing, and I would have owed you $50 on all those questions.
I'm not betting you anything ever again. I learned my lesson.
Okay. What else you got?
Number 4.
Number 4.
Honor your father and mother.
Yes.
Okay.
And little man is your father, and the religion is your mother.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I did not know
It's
that.
a-
I figured little man was
Your father.
the father.
Your earthly father-ish type
Ish.
thing.
Okay.
Well, that's part of the reason everybody took his last name is because,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you were.
Again, talk about narcissistic.
Somebody else pointed out not only is it narcissistic to go, yeah, I'm making these people all take my last name, but with all of the multiple marriages out there and as many wives that little man had, it was a way for the illegitimate children to all have a proper last name. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Proper being in quotes.
Well, if you're a third wife and you're popping out a kid, but you're not actually married to your actual husband because there's 2 other wives before you, and let's just say the wife he went there with, they
Okay.
have a marriage certificate from Illinois. Okay?
Okay. Because it's a true legal in the United States.
Marriage. Right. And they found out about the cult and they traveled there and they're like,
Okay.
oh my gosh, we need to be here. And, the woman's thinking she found God, and the man's going, I found paradise, I'm getting 2 more wives.
Right.
So everybody changes their name to the same last name. Now,
So
every
you're
child,
one big happy family.
So every child that is born out there has a legitimate last name. And you have no idea
Gotcha.
who is married to who, whose child is whose. I read you in that news article a few episodes back that little man was confirmed to have 2 children that were born to him at the hospital, and I think one was 19 years old. How they ended up at the hospital, I don't know, because you're supposed to have your children at home or the midwifery. They actually want you to have your children at home. Do you know why?
Why?
Because, Laura, if I'm your friend and I'm not a certified midwife, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You go into labor and you call me. I have helped out at births, okay? So I sort of know what I'm doing. I come over here and I help birth your baby. There is no legal birth certificate needed. You now have a person that's technically here, but there's no sign they exist.
No social security number?
How many children out there are like that?
Oh, because if you would go to a hospital or there was a registered nurse, they'd be like,
there's
hey.
no record of you. I mean, in today's society, how many people are there in the United States that don't have a birth certificate and a social security
Well,
card?
not just this cult, but any of them.
Yes.
I would imagine.
Yes.
Oh,
So
geez.
you were actually encouraged to try and have your kids at home. Now, your first kid, usually the midwives. You'd go to the midwives because, shit, you don't know what you're doing for your first baby, did
Right.
you?
Hell no.
I knew by the second one you only had one.
I only had one.
And since I almost died with my first one, I had to go and find a female gynecologist, which there were only 3 or 4 in that town.
Because God forbid it be a man.
Yeah. Well, my second son, I actually had to plan to have him.
A C-section?
No. Induced.
Oh, okay.
I actually believe he would have been born on my birthday. But my female gynecologist was planning like a 3-week trip to France.
Oh, okay.
And she gave me the dates of, when she was going to be leaving. And she told me that I was already 2 centimeters. And she could guarantee that I was going to have this baby while she was gone. Or, since I was already 2 centimeters, she could induce me, here's your time span. Pick a day out of these 5. And I was not having a baby at home after almost dying with the first one.
Right.
So, but yeah, can you imagine having a little army of people that don't exist?
My God. So what did the cult say when you had to go to this gynecologist?
You had to pick a woman because
But what I'm saying,
you couldn't have a man looking at your hoo-ha.
Well, no, I know that. But I mean, the fact that you had to go to an actual doctor.
I wanted to. That was my choice.
And what was their reaction to it?
They frowned upon it, but it was still my choice. Just like you could be in the cult and like we had alcoholics that didn't care, We knew so-and-so drank. We knew so-and-so did whatever. You just kind of look the other way because that's their choice and they're the ones that are going to have to answer for it when God comes back.
Oh, okay. So like they're sinning. You were sinning.
I wasn't exactly sinning.
So there's different levels of sinning.
Yes, I was going to, a sorcerer, a healer. I wasn't relying on God to get me through this.
Right.
But, if I'm jumping out an airplane, usually you have your parachute and a backup parachute.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing. I had a parachute and a backup parachute. As long as I wasn't taking prescribed drugs.
Because they're evil.
Yes. And with my second one, I was actually diabetic. So I had to follow strict eating guidelines because I couldn't take medications.
Oh my God.
And I actually snuck my kids to the doctor one time. They had that RSV. And as a pharmacist, RSV is bad.
It's bad. You aren't gonna like take some herbal something to get rid of it. Like you need meds.
I had the greatest pediatrician there. They were actual immigrants from Poland. Oh, a couple from Poland. And I had no insurance because we're in the cult.
How could you? Yeah.
And my kids were so freaking sick. They were like lethargic and turning blue. And Kenny wasn't there. So I took them to the secret pediatrician. And they actually wanted to put my kids in the hospital because their oxygen was so low.
Holy shit.
And we sat in that office for about 2 hours doing breathing treatments. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to put my kids in the hospital even after the breathing treatments. And they knew I was part of this cult. So they charged me basically half of what they would charge somebody who had insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And they saw both of my children and they gave me anything that I needed to treat my kids as samples.
Oh,
so
nice.
I wasn't busted at a pharmacy, okay?
Oh my God. Like the hoops you had to jump through.
Yes, but I begged them because, they're like, we really need to, I should be calling CPS on you because you're refusing to put your kid in the hospital. But they knew I was in the cult, and I would get in severe trouble for it,
Right.
even for going to them. So she made me, the wife was a registered nurse, and she made me promise in the next day or two, bring my kids back.
Okay.
And they gave me the, for breathing treatments, you need a machine.
A machine, the nebulizer.
Yeah, and you got the face mask, and you got these little drops.
Yep.
And I ended up not having to put them in the hospital, but
Meanwhile, they could have gotten into a shit ton of trouble.
looking back,
You know what I'm
yes.
saying? Thinking about that.
Looking back, yes. But it was one of those decisions that you have to make. I mean, I should never have snuck them to the doctor, but
They would have died.
it very well could have. I mean, my youngest son was actually he was turning blue, and that's when mom kicks in and you go,
Screw it.
holy shit, my Norm, hi Norm, one of his daughters when she was born, the midwives kept doing CPR on the baby because she kept stopping breathing. And they were waiting for the grand poobah to come down, and
What the hell's he gonna do?
he's going to lay healing hands on
Oh,
this baby,
God.
and she's going to be fine. At one point, Norm said, screw this, grabbed the baby, grabbed his wife, grabbed somebody's car keys, and off to the hospital.
Good for him.
He's actually on that A&E documentary, and he talks about it, where, it's a turning point, screw this, and his baby girl would have died.
Right.
And there's quite a few out there that did die,
Did they say what was wrong with his daughter?
I don't
Do you
remember, but in today's age,
There's no need for these babies to die.
there's no need for the babies to die. There's no reason for these women to hemorrhage to death. There's no reason for any of this stuff that goes on out there. And sometimes it's as simple as maybe the baby needs just a little more oxygen because their lungs are not as developed. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's why they have the NICU, like the neonatal intensive care unit.
Well, I'm guessing out at the cult, if your baby dies, it's meant to be. I
I'm
don't
sure.
know.
I'm sure.
So, are we done with this?
No, we have. With this particular one,
Yeah,
yes.
because we're moving on to 5.
We're moving on to 5, which this one is blowing my mind. Number 5, you shall not kill.
Okay.
Which, just thinking about all you've said about the cults and how many people they kill, whether directly or indirectly.
Yeah. And you know what else they do under shady shit? If you're there, Laura, and you're getting a Social Security check and food stamps every month,
They take it.
and you die.
Oh, I bet they don't report that death.
No, and they send somebody once a year to go and be you they find somebody who looks like you.
Oh, that's some shady shit.
And they're still continuing to get benefits for dead people. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my God. Because that's what God would want you to do. That's being honest.
Well, stealing from the government is not a sin because the government's evil.
That's true.
And you're supposed to take advantage of your enemies.
Even though thou shalt not steal, don't steal.
Nope. That's your enemies, and you're supposed to smite your enemies.
Which means stealing from your enemies.
Well, God tells you to plunder your enemies and kill people and take the virgins for your own, so why not?
It says here in the children's book,
Yes.
it says, murder is the unlawful killing of one human being by another.
Now, see, the key there is unlawful because there are lawful times to kill people.
Oh,
Yes.
alrighty.
You can stone people to death for certain things, and it's not stoning them to death in it's a bad way. There's several ways to stone somebody to death. Do you know that?
Well, how the hell would I know that?
Well, one way.
I would think it's just like picking up a rock and like throwing rocks until they die.
Well, see, that's one way, except you're buried up to like almost to your boobicles. And your hands your hands are tied to the sides of your waist.
So you can't move.
And you're buried in a hole, and they start throwing rocks at you, at your head.
Oh man.
Guys, it's really gruesome. My mom didn't believe this went on.
Have you seen it?
My mom didn't believe this went on in today's day and age. And I actually pulled up, stonings and that are still going on today. And she couldn't look out after the first couple of pictures.
No, I wouldn't be able to. What's the second way?
The second way of being stoned to death is they stretch you out on your back.
Oh God.
And your hands are tied. You're on the ground or a table.
Okay.
But your hands are up above you and your feet are stretched out the other way. And they get these flat rocks. And they don't really weigh all that much. But they start stacking them on your chest.
Oh my God.
And, after a while,
you can't breathe.
They put another one on. And after a little while, they put another one on until
they crush you. Basically,
you
can't breathe.
Your chest muscles give out because of the weight on them, and you suffocate. And it's a really gruesome way to go, from what I understand.
Both ways are disgusting.
You should look up the medieval Christianity shit that they used to have.
Oh, like what is it? The Inquisition. Some nasty stuff.
Oh my gosh, they would take you and they
stretch you.
No, this one They tie your hands above your head, okay? And that's how you're hanging. And your hands are free to grasp the rope that you're holding on to, okay?
Okay.
And you're naked from the waist down. And there are weights tied to each of your ankles.
God.
Okay? And there is a razor sharp, axe type thing. And you're lowered inch by inch until your crotch is sitting on this razor sharp thing, and it splits you in half eventually.
How do you even know this?
I'm morbid in a lot of things.
All right, I will just believe you on that one.
Okay.
And under the do not murder thing in the kids' book, it says, the physical act of taking the life of another human being is the ultimate act of hatred against that person.
Pretty much.
But yet, that's what they do.
But if you're told to kill somebody, that's what you do.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
I know, but
it's just
you have to
what
understand.
The hell?
You do what the cult tells you to do. If they tell you not to do it, you don't do it.
Okay, because it says here, disregard for another's right to life is common among all people of all nations because they have not been taught, basically, the cult's laws of peace.
Well, wait a minute. The Buddha's people don't even swat flies.
Yeah.
Because it's a life. Do you think the Buddhists use antibacterial Kleenex?
Oh, probably not. You're killing
the virus coming out your nose. Any Buddhists out there, guys?
Oh, that'd be interesting. And then to end this part in the kids' book, it says, the laws of peace and regard for life is precious and given to us by the Creator.
Exactly.
But yet kill if we say to.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
And if we need to burn up the ashes of the heifer and... yeah. Yeah.
So basically,
I don't even know what to say.
So basically, again, it's just pick and choose what you want. And if we...
The laws in that book are
the kids' book.
In the scripture book.
Oh, okay.
The laws in the scripture book are what you are supposed to live by.
Okay.
And it applies to all the cult members. If you're not a cult member, we can kill you. We can lie to you. We can sell you rancid meat.
Basically, we can do whatever we want to you.
Because you're a heathen scum.
Okay.
And, yeah, you're a heathen scum.
Okay. So basically, the 10 Commandments are to be followed, but then
Within the cult.
Except if you're not a cult member, then we can disregard them.
Right. That's
cool.
If law enforcement came to you, you can lie your ass off, Laura. Because you're protecting yourself, you're protecting the cult, you're protecting God, God needs protected. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Why does the Pope drive around in a bulletproof car?
Oh, don't get me started on the Pope. The Pope-mobile.
You know what? We're not going to have time for all 10 commandments.
We'll do the final 5.
We'll do the final 5 next week. I did not get to everything in my book, and that's okay. But I did want to... I didn't talk to her, texted, okay? I asked her if I could use her story for this week's show and post the picture that she posted.
Okay.
She posted this on her private timeline. Okay. She didn't post in the ex members group. She didn't post in I got the hell out. And she's my friend on Facebook. And I told her that I would just make it so generic because
Oh, okay.
she's only been out for a few years. And let me tell
Oh,
you,
jeez.
the first few years are tough. I mean, for me, I was stuck in that state. I wasn't allowed to leave.
Right.
And I finally got the hell out. But I'm going to start including like people's stories or things like that, maybe.
Okay.
But this is what she put on her own homepage. She wrote, Transformation Tuesday, reflecting on how far I've come in just a few years. Physically, I'm stronger and fitter, but my biggest transformation is mentally. I was only 23 when I went blindly into a religion following my ex. And at first, it was family and friend oriented and peaceful. Like I've said
Like you
before.
said,
Laura.
right.
I mean, it was like being in a family.
Right.
She goes on to say, however, through the years, it subtly and then blatantly became harsh, cold, and controlling. People have asked me how I could stay so long in a cult. I say because it wasn't like that in the beginning. And by the time you realize something's wrong, you're basically trapped and isolated from family and friends on the outside. I had become so miserable and lived a hypocritical life for at least 5 years before I left. But I believed I didn't have a choice. So I will keep telling my story in hopes that anyone who feels like that knows there is hope and there's always a way out.
Wow.
And she actually told me I could post this picture. She blotted out her two friends' faces.
And that's her.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But
Wearing the napkin thingy on her face.
yeah, and if you look in the background, everybody's wearing napkins.
Oh my God.
Do you see that?
Oh my God.
And I'm not sure how long this picture was taken before she left. But you know, she spent 5 years thinking, and it's like getting a divorce. You don't just wake up one day and go, I think I want a divorce. No, it's little grains of sand until the scale tips and you go, oh my God, I got
What
to
the
get the hell
hell?
out of here. I got to get out of here. And there's a lot of us that still have family there. And it really sucks because you're out, but they choose to stay. And yeah, it's heartbreaking. Almost everybody that I know has family or a friend or somebody that they would love to see get the hell out. So I don't know. Thank you for sharing your story. Everybody, we all have stories, and everybody's time in there was probably mentally different. Things that we struggled with, things that we were made to do. A lot of it was who's the head over you and what they make you do or what they overlook. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
There were men that were, you know, jumping for joy that they get to have as many wives as they want. And then another friend of mine said her husband never took another wife because he actually thought for himself, how would I feel if my wife took another husband? And he thought about that and he's like, I don't think I would
wouldn't-
like that at all.
Yeah, that would not go over well.
I mean, what's wrong with me? Why does she need another husband? Mm-hmm. You know? So
That's amazing that he actually thought for himself while being there.
yes. And she is so incredibly thankful for that. And she didn't even find out about his thoughts until they left.
Oh my gosh.
And she asked him the one day, so how come you never took another wife? And he was honest with her. And she just thought that was the most precious thing, that he thought for himself and
Right.
thought about her feelings as opposed
That's
to...
that's what true love is. What true, honest
Yes.
love is.
You don't want to hurt somebody else. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I may want this, but it's going to hurt somebody else, so I can't do this. Do you
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
So I'd like to give a shout out to my pal Gary, one of the first people I met at the cult.
Hey, Gary.
He sent me a shitload of pictures
Ooh.
that I'm going to have to get with him about which ones I can publish without hiding the faces.
Yeah.
And my friend was over last night, and I'm going through his pictures, and I let out the involuntary thing.
What was it?
It was me and my ex with his arm around me, and I'm looking all happy and shit. And I think it was our friend John from South Carolina, but I'm not quite sure. Yeah. But it's really weird to come across pictures that you're in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So thank you, Gary. I'm going to be posting some of those. And I guess that's pretty much all we've got.
I think that's it for this morning, and I'm stressing morning.
I know. I really need more coffee. I think we did pretty good for staying on topic, didn't we?
We did. We watched those tangents.
I think last week's episode was pretty much... we could put it down there with the first 4 episodes.
We should have titled it, like, Going Off on a Tangent.
We should have, but you were too tired.
We didn't realize it till after, though, when we listened to it.
I kind of knew in my head, and I was waiting for it to come out. And when I listened to it, I was like, holy shit, I think there's only like 20 minutes of culty stuff. So sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys, about that crap.
Well, it's kind of like being in school and you're doing your homework on the bus.
Right.
That's not going to be your best work.
Right.
So, and I'm actually trying to do stuff like driving down the road. And I've actually pulled over and so I could write something down because in Deb's brain... by the time I had something to tell you that funny happened driving over here, and nope, nothing in my noggin. It's gone.
Well,
totally
text
gone.
me.
That
If
would
it
make me
ever comes
pulling
back.
over. Seriously, yeah. Hey, at least it wasn't a shit show in entirety.
In the entirety.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's it.
Guys, if you're somewhere, you're uncomfortable, get some help, please. We're still working on stuff here. My to-do list gets longer. Laura looks like I feel at this moment.
Hey, I'm still in my jammies.
I was up this morning and out of my house. I can't believe I'm sitting here. I'm still really not awake.
No. Like I said, I'm in my jammies. I have my coffee.
Let me see. Am I missing anything here? I don't know.
Well, if you are, save it for next week.
I do. I have to get to there was something else I needed to read about. Did we do Thou Shalt Not Steal? Or is that next week?
I think that's next week.
Okay, because...
that is next week.
Okay, well, I'm going to save what this ex-member has to tell me about her cow.
Ooh, someone stole a cow.
Well, they stole half of it at least.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God.
Yeah.
We'll save that.
We'll save that for next week. So, guys, till next Sunday evening, this has been Deb.
And this is Laura.
And we'll talk at you next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye, guys.